What's up guys, it's Project back with another early game video. So far I've made 2 early guides, one showing you how to get a +4 weapon and upgraded flask, and a video on the best place to farm runes to level up quickly. So check those out if you haven't, they will be in the pinned comment. But this video will show 3 more flask upgrades early and better routing for the best weapons to get and use early on. This is basically a walkthrough but for weapons. Welcome to the ultimate how to get OP weapons early guide for Elden Ring. Make sure to slam the like button if you want to see more guides and videos like this, and let's begin. Now the goal of this is to show weapons that you can get without having to fight bosses, because what's the point of a cool weapon if it's tied behind something you have to beat? You suck. You want the weapon, so you don't suck, so you can fight the bosses and beat them to unlock even cooler weapons, of which I'll show some later, but I will show the routes to the free weapons on the map first before a full sped up version of the routes. This way there's no mistake on where the item is, and I can save my breath on giving directions. And if you need to see it slower, simply use YouTube's speed function to slow it down. Also, before doing these, make sure to get your spectral steed from this route here. You have to touch 3 graces and rest at the 3rd to summon Melina to get your horse, but this spot in particular is very good as it branches out to the spots we need. But from the 2nd grace you just got, make sure to buy the torch and crafting kit from Gael eventually when you have the time, as they're essential. You can craft finger remedies with 2 Erdleaf flowers, which is how you'll be able to see summon signs, be it co-op or PvP, which I'll show a good farm spot later. But from here, the locations are separated by map chunks, so if you wanted to get them all in one area before moving on, you could. I'll leave a link to the maps in the pinned comment as well. First off, a great sword and flail right near the gate front where you got the horse earlier. Both are in the chest in the 2 carts to the left. For the flail, bleed is crazy good, and it's a blunt weapon which is good against most enemies, and it's dex. And you can use it to do method 2 in my rune farm guide. Remember to get the map fragment as well, so you can see the map better. Fragments on unknown maps will have this little symbol here, so now you know where to search for them. Place your markers near them so they're easier to find, and you can focus on getting it without being distracted. Next up is the Twin Blade, which are east from the First Step Grace to the Dragon Burnt Ruins. Get the Seaside Grace first though, as we'll come back here, and the Twin Blades will be in the chest in the underground path. Once gotten, warp back to Seaside, then to Gael Lake South Grace. Across the street east and up the cliff is an encampment with a chest at the front left side. Quickly jump off the horse with the left thumbstick push and open the chest for the Great Epi, a great quality build thrusting weapon if you wanted heavy pokes with nice range to keep enemies at bay. Now for Uchigatana. Since I had a lot of people ask where I got my 2nd one, the route is here, which is quite a journey, so I would do route 2 of my OP early video for this segment if you're on a brand new character, so that way you can kill 2 birds 1 stone. Otherwise, from the War Master's shack, go to the path you see in the background. There is an extra shield in the chest that blocks 100% physical damage and is vastly superior to the wooden trash you might have gotten from your starting class. Up the ledge and go into the catacombs, running past the mobs. Katanas have a bleed passive which causes explosions after so many hits. And if you started samurai, you can power stance 2 cats like I did in my streams, destroying most things so far, although charged R2s and jump R2s and Ashes of Wat are kinda still king for bosses, over the power stance moveset. But on this ledge is the katana. Now to make amends. This is the map route for the lower section I screwed up last time, now properly marked. Definitely get the 3 tiers in this area regardless of what weapon you want, as it'll increase your flask's effectiveness once you upgrade them at a grace. To get to this area, just follow the same route for the Great Epi and follow the main road south all the way past the bridge. Make sure to pick up the shards on the bridge as well as in the field with the giant dogs and freaky bird people on your way to the Castle Moor and Rampart Grace. Conveniently, the merchant here sells a HP up talisman, the one from the starting gift, as well as a stone sword key, which you should always get, and some weapons and armor and ranged ammo. Pretty nice merchant. From here, head west across the road following the footage in the back for a tier and incantation. Turn right here into a church-like place with rats, grab the 2 items with the sacred tier at the end. The frenzy skill is an incantation and is the best incantation hands down early on. This thing's damage at full charge against bigger bosses blows everything else out the way, and it can stagger in like 2 charges as well. Frickin' OP. Now onwards to the second tier following this route, but do be careful jumping down however, as you can die if you don't try it near the corner I did there. Once at the church, there is the second tier, so +2 flask upgrades now. But this church is the spot for the Erdleaf Farm. Follow the path I'm taking here down to this little spot, and you get 4 Erdleafs in like 12 seconds from the grace. Warp back and repeat for endless co-op materials. Next weapon is the Winged Scythe, which will be in the nearby ruins with this underground opening here. Go down into it with your horse and quickly open a door. But the Scythe is a Faith hybrid scaling weapon with great reach and damage with a unique AOW. You can also, if you wanted, farm these enemies here for a red bow that has a rapid fire AOW, Ashes of Wat. But from the ruins, continue west for the next church grace and a 3rd sacred tier. From here, head south to the last grace, which puts you at a merchant that sells the Zwei hander. Now, if you did this from the beginning, you probably won't have enough to afford it, but if you watch my other 2 videos, you can easily afford anything any merchant has for sale, and you can upgrade the Zwei to +4 immediately. But make sure to buy the lantern, as it'll be like a mini torch item you can use on your waist. And while I won't show the footage, you can get the Opaline tier after beating the boss near this minor Erdtree. Super easy boss. And the tier can be used in the Flask of Physic to literally negate 1 hit. Otherwise, head to this fort here and climb up to warp to a new location. Inside is a chest near a giant. Grab it for the Dew Talisman, which will slowly regen your health over time. Useful for all content, a really good talisman. And that wraps it up for this area's melee freebies. Next up, the Red Zone, which has one iconic weapon for Berserk fans to splurge into, so I think you know what's coming up. But we'll have to go to a more mid-game area to get it, so enemy spoilers ahead I suppose. After this, I will cover boss drops for more OP weapons to use early on, as well as some Ashes of Wat to grab. So first thing to do is go back to the Dragon Burnt Ruins. If you got the Seaside Ruins Grace, it's faster than going from first step. Follow the path showcased to this underground part, ride in with your horse to avoid the rats, and open the door. You and the chest will hit the bong and be transported to a completely new zone. This area is filled with mid-game upgrades, so definitely worth coming back to, but it's also way harder to clear. But anyways, grab the gravity treats in the chest and copy the route I take. Make sure to go my exact way, as there's enemies on the left and right side of the ruins in the next area. Once you touch grass here, Melina should appear if she hasn't already for you, which she'll offer to take you to the round table hold immediately, even on a brand new character. But for now, say nah, as you can always go there later by talking with her at any grace. From here, copy this route here to some ruins. You can grab a meteorite staff, a full armor set, and a gravity spell on the ruins to the right. But either way, go back to the Grace and continue on this route, following my path. You'll eventually reach a grave of great swords, fitting for what you'll obtain. But after 2 more graces past the ruins, you'll finally arrive at your destination. Head towards the big wagon, but this time engage your inner solid snake and crouch all the way to the chariot. Once near, jump up twice to open the chest undetected for a coarse iron lump of an ultra greatsword. Now you're ready to cleave your foes in two. Guts cosplayers rejoice! Next route is for a hybrid katana. Go back to the Grace with a bunch of greatswords you just got a bit ago, astray, and head southwest to another ruins. You'll want to take your horse in to best avoid the enemies by jumping and opening the door directly at the back. But once in, quickly lift up the door and jump over the small enemies rather than rolling, and the chest will contain the Meteoric Katana, a int/strength katana with a locked gravity skill. Now, I don't think this katana is good. Gravitas is trash, and you can't buff the sword, so I'm only recommending this in case you wanted to power stance with Uchi if you didn't start Samurai. Otherwise, no bueno. And the last weapon is the Naginata with this route here, which you'll just follow the road for the most part this way, avoiding enemies. Once you reach this spot, hop down and there is Gael Tunnel on the right. Important for a boss weapon later. Inside, follow this path to the Naginata, a super cool spear weapon with a pretty neat moveset. It's a dex weapon too and can cause bleed, so a must have. Grab the stones in an area before dying. Now the bad part is that you can't warp out of this cave. You're stuck now. Good luck. Just kidding. You continue down this route here from the stairs, collecting items as you go until you reach a door. It can be opened and an NPC is there and a grace. Continue onwards and you're conveniently placed in Limgrave, right where we plan to continue actually. So now we're going to be moving on to a couple of goat Ashes of War to grab. Weapons are merely one factor to big damage. Ashes of War can sometimes be even more important and can make non-unique weapons outperform unique weapons. But the first is crazy good for faith hybrids, or if you just want a massive AR boost, which is your attack rating on your weapon, dictating roughly how much damage you're doing, shown in the status screen here. From the Gael tunnels, continue down the windward paths till you reach a beetle, kill it, and you got yourself the Sacred Blade, a Ash of War that shoots a ray of light and buffs your weapon with Holy. And for this one, depending on your faith stat, you will want the split scaling, as I tested it compared to Keen, and this sacred scaling did about 100 more damage to the doggo. Also, when I used the Ash of War, my AR went to a whopping 388. Pretty crazy. Continue to the church and get a Sacred Seed and the Flask of Physic, a super important item that you can combine effects with and tailor to your needs. Next, the Bloody Slash I used in my Day 4 stream. To get it, head from the same church of Marika downwards this route to Fort Height. You will have to basically full clear it in order to kill the knight safely that drops it up top, but use your summons if you need some help. With this attack, while I don't think it directly inflicts bleed itself, it does do massive damage at the cost of your life, and is basically the main way I took down bosses outside of Flames of Frenzy. And I did find a third super good Ash of War, the Flames of the Redmane. However, I wasn't able to find out where I got it from skimming the VODs, so if anyone knows the location of this, comment down below so I can edit it in my pinned comment for people to know. But this skill does crazy poise damage, the most I've seen so far, and it's a wide AoE, and I can usually stagger in 2 successive uses against most humanoid enemies, excluding bosses, but it still worked wonders there too. But yeah, great skill. And while not an Ash of War, there is a tiny turtle talisman in this area here. It is in a locked tunnel filled with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Use a stone sword key to open it and grab the talisman, as it increases your stamina recovery. And that will wrap it up for easy freebies. Well, maybe 2 more, and then we'll lead to unique weapons from the bosses, which I'll cover only briefly. As you beat the boss, you get the weapon, pretty simple. But the first mega super mega OP item requires the route in my room farm video, where you killed the dragon. Conveniently, the grace near it was Fort Ferrith, but the enemies here will kick the crap out of you, so spend any runes you have in case you die, but just follow the path I'm taking past a hidden breakable board, and in the pit after the giant rat is the most powerful item in the game, Radagon's Sore Seal. This is an upgraded version of the Scarseal, granting you 5 points each into strength, vigor, endurance, and dexterity. So it's literally gaining you 20 whopping levels in one item. You do take increased damage, but not really, as this test will show. So yeah, barely noticeable at all. So definitely everyone watching right now, you must get this. But there's another one you can get. Deep in the forest area here, which can be gotten from the Third Church of Marika, you got the Sacred Blade from, is the elevator to Siofra Ruins. This is the best looking place in the freaking game. It's so beautiful, but it's very annoying too. So you're probably not going to kill anything going here early, but you can get the Marika Scarseal here. Once you reach the forest area where you need to light flames, there is a giant broken pillar way across from the Grace. Here, surrounded by annoying archers. I hate them. You're gonna hate them too. But go up it as best you can, and there's a teleporter in there. Get in there. You'll warp to a place that you can't access on foot. But go forward and you'll see a white tree and a waterfall. Once you reach a lake with a big chunky boy, to the right of it is another waterfall, and the item is the Scarseal. It raises mind, int, faith, and arcane all by 3 points. So 12 points of stats in one item. Combine that with your Sword Seal for 32 levels worth of stats. This will help greatly with meeting weapon requirements early on, and oh yeah, if you kill the boss here, it drops a Dragon Halberd, which Ashes of Wat buffs the weapon with lightning and ice. Pretty cool. Good luck beating them. In order to equip both the seals though, you'll have to beat Margit, the main boss blocking Stormville, to unlock another talisman slot. So you might want to do that if you want to use both. Now moving to more boss weapons. Back to the Zweihander area at the Castle Moor Rampart Grace. If you rest till nighttime, a dark cavalry boss will spawn there. Beat it and you get the Ashes of Wat barricade, a crazy AoW to make your shield not take chunks of stamina when blocking, and the Knight Rider Flail, a dex weapon better than the first flail you got that I used for my room farm video. Downwards is Castle Morn, which defeating that boss can drop the Grafted Greatsword, a super sick looking greatsword. I don't know if it's that good though. Resuming, you can get the Reduvia dagger by killing the invader that spawns in this thin lake area here in Limgrave. Next, from this grace here, down is another boss and an Evergoal. It drops the Bloodhound's Fang, a curved greatsword with a super sick moveset and is a quality weapon. The Vanish also has iframes, I believe, or so it seems. If you come back here after speaking with Blade, the wolf guy, he'll give you an extra something, so keep that in mind if you do this before his quest. Of course, near the starting area is the Tree Sentinel. You beat it and you get the Golden Halberd, a great faith strength weapon. And if you do plan to use this, make sure to pump faith first before strength, as if you two-hand your weapon, you can increase your strength by 1.5 times the amount. So 20 strength will equal 30 strength when two-handing. So it's easier to wield the weapon if you pump faith first. And the last thing for Limgrave is after beating Margit, the demigod Godric awaits you in Stormvale, and upon defeat, you get the choice between his axe and a Dragon Fist weapon. Well, actually, we're not done yet in Limgrave. At the very start of the game here, there is a locked dungeon needing 2 Stone Sword keys to unlock. Unlock it and you'll be greeted by a one-shot chariot machine of death rolling through the halls. Follow my route here to get to this ledge and jump down. There will be imps waiting. If you can kill them, it'll be easier. Otherwise, you can try to run through, but the flamethrower tends to kill you. Anyways, when you reach this bridge here, run straight across it as fast as possible and get the item before being ambushed. You'll get the Erd Tree's favor, increasing stamina, life, and equipment load a bit. Going back to the red zone, I think people want to know how to get the cool Virgil sword, the Moonveil Katana. It is gotten in the Gael tunnels, the same place you got the Naginata. Fell the boss and your dex/int build is now complete. Very cool weapon. Too bad I went dex faith. Somewhat nearby is another cave with another boss. Within that area you can get the Wakizashi after unlocking the cells, which can be power stance with katanas as well, invoking the Onikiri and Ubadachi look from Dark Souls 3. But after beating the boss here, a new path opens up to unlock the Regalia of Eochaid, or Eochad, I don't know. A Dex Arc straight sword with a crazy dark magic Ash of War. It also has low requirements too, but the place may be too tough to beat early on for most. Next, going back to the same spot, we got the Meteoric Katana, that grace. Go to the grace before it and head into a dark rot swamp. There is a boss around here that drops a cool buffing halberd that increases attack and defense of you and all allies, which I think affects your spirit summons too. This boss is kinda chunky but is slow and can be parried, and you can ride your horse around as well to avoid enemies. But quick tip for the staff, it can be used as a second right hand weapon, and you can use it to buff and then swap to your main weapon to enjoy the increased attack and defense, although consider the extra weight. And finally, we'll go to Redmane Castle. This place is tough, but you get some goodies here like the Star Scourge Talisman, which increases strength by 5 points, as well as the Ruins Greatsword after beating the double boss fight, which is the giant greatsword in the trailer that does a huge gravity slam downwards. Really cool. And there may even be more here. However, I said no to Jaren at the end, and now he basically tells me to kick rocks, so when given the option, say yes to be taken to the festival. I don't know if I'm screwed out of the quest or not, or Verdan's fight or not. Let me know if there's another chance to get in the comments below. I just wanted to see the extra dialogue. Feels bad, man. But those are all the cool weapons I found so far that you can get early in the game before Godric or any demigod slain. So hope you guys enjoyed the video and found it helpful, and if so, make sure to give the video a likey. Again, go watch my other guides if you want to upgrade your weapon fast, get a lot of flask upgrades, and level to a pretty high level very early in the game. But comment down below any more cool weapons you found or are using, and if you want to see more guides and builds to come, subscribe for more Elden Ring epicness.